It's all wonderful.
Yeah, you
Merry
need
Christmas. Let's call this pre-council to order. Good to see everyone here. Raven's got a sick child, and hopefully she'll be joining us later, not sure. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
The motion second, all those in favor, aye. Aye. Minutes approved. Okay, everybody around the room can clap and give us a standing ovation. We won't meet for 20 more days. I know you're all sad that you won't see us now. All right.
Your mic song go?
Oh.
Okay. Mayor, it's great to have you back today.
We really want to be heard.
Yeah, maybe not. All right, so we only have Mr. Pons with department comments today. Oh, I'm sorry, Caitlin and Eden. Caitlin is not Mr. Pons.
All good.
Miss Giles.
All right, so the first item you heard last week, choosing to table that last week instead of voting on it. They are requesting to table it until January 17th. This is the DHR rezoning.
Why are they requesting? Are they here?
No, they're gonna try and figure out what's going on, cause they thought that they were going forward, and then, Mr. Tyner got that call from, was it Mark
Yes.
Nelson? Yeah, with the county, and so I think they just need to figure out what the county and the state wanna do with this project.
Sounds like the team that's been
Well, actually-
hired to do the work is
John.
not getting the full story, so we're just gonna get everybody to get all the information they
I-
needed.
Yeah, actually, no, Mr. Crow did. I didn't get it. Wait,
this
now,
was-
you talking about last week?
Last week at
Okay.
pre-council.
Yes, last week we had met, and that's what they had asked for it to be, to table. You're right. But again, Mr. Crow got one just now,
What was the one just now?
wanting to table.
Oh, okay.
Who wants to table? Commission. County Commission wants to table it?
Yeah.
Whatever you think, John.
Okay.
Whatever we need to do.
I don't know if there's been any.
I
Progress at
don't,
all.
they've had plenty of time to come up with a plan. I don't get it. I'm for moving forward.
I don't understand
We're
why.
gonna have a crew
Oh,
from,
yeah.
Cherokee Hills and Valley View, I know. And their attorney will be
For the county?
here, for the citizens,
Oh, Paul.
Paul Patterson,
Okay.
thank you.
All right. Is that all you have, Caitlin?
That is not. We've got a couple of items for introduction for you all.
Okey dokey.
Z 2022 is one of our first ones. This is down Bobby Miller Parkway. They are annexing in as well, so they're requesting to rezone from R1 to BN. This is the subject property. The parcel lines are a little funky right now, so you can see that corner of BN just to the north. The new property lines are gonna follow those other ones down to intersect with Bobby Miller Parkway. And from there until 69 South, that's gonna be request to annex and be zoned BN.
Do we do those simultaneously?
The annexation is tonight as well.
That's what I'm asking. I thought I remembered we would typically annex it in R1, right? And then subsequently rezone.
Yep.
Yeah, so.
We attempting to do these simultaneously.
That's correct. So you'll be introduced the annexation as well as the rezoning, but because of advertising, the rezoning, it's called pre-zoning. So basically you're annexing into the city as R1, and then in 4 weeks, you can actually vote on the rezoning. So the annexation,
We're not voting on the rezoning tonight.
you're not, we're just introducing it.
Okay.
But we introduce them to you on the same day.
All right.
This is for construction of an automated car wash, which is why they're requesting BN. And it was heard in October at Planning Commission and unanimously recommended approval. We'll be setting the public hearing date for January 24th. Next one.
Where is it at?
It's down Bobby Miller Parkway, or
Oh, yeah.
down 69 South
yeah.
where it
Okay, I was
intersects
about
with
to
Bobby
say,
Miller. Next, we have Z 2122. We are requesting to rezone approximately 2.51 acres located at 1812 Hargrove Road East from R2 to institutional. This is the site here right where Hargrove intersects with Loop Road. It's an old church. And this is for the new construction of Fire Station 6. It was heard in November at Planning Commission and unanimously recommended approval. We'll be setting the public hearing date for January 24th. Next, another introduction, Z2922, petitioning to rezone approximately 5.88 acres located west of 6500 Interstate Parkway from ML to BH. This is the Tuscaloosa Chevy site. This will be to allow Tuscaloosa Chevy to expand their operations with a new service center.
Is that, it's in the city limits?
It is. So this bottom right map, on the right-hand side is the Tuscaloosa Chevy site. So that BH that you see is going to extend over to the west just a little bit further.
That part to the farthest left and the top right-hand corner, you really can't do anything with that, can you?
It's actually a pretty big site.
I mean, I was thinking it was, the topography was gonna be a problem. I mean, I know they're gonna move over there and do a couple of things, but are they gonna go all the way to the red line and do stuff?
They are not, no.
That's what I thought.
No. So we had a subdivision with this as well. They're expanding about 3 acres.
Okay.
But I don't believe they're the owner to the east. I think somebody else has got that. So no plans to expand in that direction. And this was also heard in November and unanimously recommended approval, setting the date for January 24th. We'll have a lot for you to do when we get back. Next one is Z2322, petitioning to rezone approximately 2.68 acres located north of 6070 Watermelon Road from R1 to BN. This is currently not in city limits, and so this is the same situation as before. We're introducing the annexation, it'll be annexed in as R1, and they're requesting to rezone it to BN. This is the Tuscaloosa Tree Farm Nursery, also called the Venue. They've got some site construction going on out there. You heard about their incentives last week. And they requested us to rezone to BN for their commercial business. It was heard in November and unanimously recommended approval. This will also be on January 24th. And here are all the co-investment annexations. First one is for that one down Bobby Miller. I'll fly through these a little bit if you guys don't have any questions. And our next one is for the Venue. Here's that site map again. No issues were given from any other departments. You got anything, any questions for us?
Any questions, Ms. Giles?
That ends up coming in the city, right?
What's that?
If all that passes, they will come in the city,
Yes.
correct? That's a good thing.
Thank you. Okay, Mayor Maddox.
Yes, sir. It is very good to be back with you guys, and as you know, there's a severe cold front that's coming in. It's going to drop temperatures down, to my understanding, into the single digits in our area of the city, our area of the state, and that presents us two immediate problems. One, an infrastructure-related issue, and the other is certainly with some of our most vulnerable populations, elderly and also homeless. So yesterday I spoke to both LaPerry Powell and Kimberly Michael and asked them if they wouldn't mind giving you an update of how we're going to approach it over the next few days. So first I'm going to ask LaPerry to talk about in particular how we're coordinating with PD, Fire and Rescue, our social service agencies as it relates to our vulnerable populations. and then ask Kimberly to talk about the steps we're gonna be taking in the next few days as it relates to water lines bursting and things like that, because we will have some of that in our distribution system. So, LaPerry, I'm gonna let you go first, and then Kimberly, once LaPerry is done, if you'll follow up there.
Again, council, as in previous years when we have done Operation Warm Up, as you know, Compassion Coalition, which is headed by Ms. Nancy Green, she actually did a coordinating effort for the warming station, and that's what's actually being done right now. When she gets finished doing that, she will contact EMA. EMA will then contact BOAD. I know I'm using acronyms.
What's a
but
BOAD?
BOAD is the Volunteer Organization Active for Disasters. So a lot of different organizations such as TES, which is Temporary Emergency Service, Salvation Army, and they will coordinate those efforts and be in contact with EMA, Tuscaloosa Fire and Rescue, and TPD. Now, when this process is done, if there's any people in the public or you get any calls, please have them reach out to either TPD, TES, Salvation Army, or they can give my office a call and we will coordinate efforts with them in regards to the warming stations. One of the reasons we do not give out the information, well, excuse me, not us, the information is not provided on warming stations is because sometimes they may change. And as an event may occur later on, that warming station may not be the same warming station as it was before. So again, please reach out to TPD, EMA, Tuscaloosa Fire and Rescue in my office, and we will coordinate with you all.
Could you send something to us that we could just share on our Facebook pages to our constituents?
Yeah, I will.
Numbers and things like that?
Will do.
Thank you.
So, well, Apparently, before you leave, and I don't think this venue is the place for this discussion, but probably between y'all, TPD, and facilities, it's gonna be rough, bad weather, but
Yeah.
they cannot live in our restrooms in Shelby Park. They're filthy. I noticed the Roto-Rooter truck cleaning it out after it stopped up when 3 of them were living in there yesterday or day before.
Okay.
How, the conversation needs to be, how do we get them to someplace warm, dry, and
Okay.
safe, but not ruin our public facilities?
Okay, we'll make sure of that. Any other questions?
We have as LaPerry touched on, we have a coordinating committee of the county, and BOAD is the volunteer organization under EMA that coordinates that through the Compassion Coalition. LaPerry in recent weeks has been working with Dr. Thompson Jackson at TES, who's been doing so much on the homeless issue. We're seeing increasing numbers of homelessness.
Right.
And so we're working proactively to try to mitigate some of that. Frankly, we're seeing where other jurisdictions are bringing their homeless population
To us.
to us.
Right.
So we're approaching this on a county-wide level. But if people see an issue like that, what you're talking about, in bathrooms, somebody's out in the open, they can call 311 if it's during the work hours. If not, call 205-349-2121. That will get you into dispatch. Dispatch is connected to Ms. Green and the Compassion Coalition, and we will be able to respond to each of those concerns.
And Chief, thank you. TPD has been down there 2 nights last week that I saw, but they throw them out and they just wait till they're gone and come back.
So,
If we're not locking that, it's going to have people living in it, and it's gonna be filled with excrement and filth
but wouldn't
and
it be,
dangerous.
but Mr. Busby, but
Yes.
wouldn't it be for all of our parks? Cause I see them in my district, I've seen them.
I'm only speaking for the one I deal with.
The parks that the city maintain, those should be locked, and if they're not, that's something we certainly will, I will talk with Summer about.
Locked at night.
At night,
At night,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
They should be locked at night.
I'll put out a directive patrol as well for officers to check.
And your folks are, they really are. I mean, I'm pleased, but they just come right back.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to sidetrack us, and this is not the place for that, but I wanted to get it highlighted.
We'll make sure we're.
At least it's too cold to take showers.
It's a huge issue, and there's also mental health issues that are wrapped around this as well, and I know PD and Fire and Rescue are dispatching their assets in that regard. Again, I can't say enough about Dr. Thompson-Jackson. We've been working and coordinating with her as well, but during this period, if anyone sees anything, the only way to go wrong is not call someone. Please give us a chance to go out there and see if we can help somebody. Kimberly, you want to discuss what the impacts could be on our water infrastructure?
So as far as our major infrastructure that the city owns and maintains, we've winterized everything just like we would every winter. We've gone out and done extra checks and things like that. We do expect to have some mains that would break, so we have crews that'll be on call just like every other weekend that would fix our large mains and things like that. We also have additional staff that will be on call ready to go for meter breaks and things like that, because we do expect to have those smaller ones break. So we'll have additional staff that's on call and standby, ready for that. I do want to point out that 311 will be closed Friday and Monday, and so normally if there are after-hour issues, or during the day issues, they'd call 311 if they had a problem or a complaint. So, but after hours, they call the Ed Love Water Treatment Plant. So anybody who has issues will need to call Ed Love Friday through Monday for any after hours complaints, or during regular hour complaints, whatever, while the city's closed. And that number is 205-248-5630. So that's the Ed Love Water Treatment Plant.
Richard, can your team put out that number and also the number regarding compassion coalition, et cetera?
Right. Thank you.
And send that to council members as well, so they can put that out. What's that number again?
205-248-5630. That's the Ed Love Water Treatment Plant.
I saw a report that Thursday night, this is where it came in, could be -5 to -12 if the winds actually exceed 20 miles an hour Thursday night. That's amazing. Just so public service for all of our constituents, what should people do at their homes? Should you turn your outdoor spigot on just a little bit, let it drip?
Well, we appreciate anybody running water at all times. I mean, that's
I'm kind of getting at that too, yeah.
Just turn it on and let it
just
rip.
let it go wide open.
Just let it go and make an
All of
ice
them.
pond.
And I mean, keeping your faucets, especially ones that are on the exterior walls, internal to the home, are the best ones to keep, moving.
Outside,
The ones that are inside your home.
inside.
Yeah,
Okay.
Because if it's
Bathroom,
cold
yeah.
enough, as it's coming out, it can start freezing if it's outside the home.
Okay.
So, ones that are internal to the home, just to keep the water moving a little bit within the home.
That's good to know. Okay. Thank you. Any questions for Kimberly or LaPerry? Thank you for that, Richard. And hope everyone will share, because I know we'll all start getting the calls, and that's a good reason to know, because I get that question too. How come you can't tell us an address so we can just go there? But it doesn't work that way. It's not like a tornado shelter, right? Okie dokie. Goodness. Miss Brandy.
All right, so for the last couple of weeks, we've been working on board appointments for ZBA. This last time, we closed the portal to accept resumes on the 15th, and I sent you guys 4 resumes that we received previous. We've advertised for quite some time and extended it for about, I want to say, close to 4 weeks. So at the direction of Council President Tyner, there will be an ordinance on the agenda tonight appointing Mr. Joseph Eatman Sr. to ZBA as a supernumerary member. And then that term it'll be a full 4-year term, and it'll expire on September 28th of 2025. And then also we'll have Miss Mary Catherine Holt. She'll be replacing Mr. Howard Spates as a supernumerary member on ZBA. That term set to expire September 30th, 2023.
And what I asked was to make Joseph the full-time supernumerary now, and then Ms. Holt to fill the unexpired term, Mr. Spates, and then come back for us for a full term. But both are supernumerary, and they both are on the agenda tonight, right?
Correct.
I just appreciate people serving on that board.
Yes. Yeah, Joseph is very excited, and Mary Catherine is a construction manager, so no zoning. That's good. Appreciate him too, John. Okay, Mr. Holmes.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, council.
Good afternoon, Scott.
back over here on the podium today. I will say, if you remember The Simpsons, there's the boring corporate lawyer in The Simpsons that always gives a disclaimer. So I'll give the disclaimer that every home is different, and anybody has a question as to how to best keep your pipes from freezing, to contact a qualified licensed plumber.
Are you saying Kimberly's not qualified? to give us-
Kimberly told me to repeatedly flush all of my toilets and leave everything wide open.
Employee of the year, employee of the year.
We do have a bit of a gap between council meetings, and that means today, some of the things on the agenda are a little more adventurous, and we have a little more doubled ups than we may normally. I will start here at the bottom of the first page on your agenda under unfinished business. On pages 8 through 17, you'll be amending various sections of Chapter 18 of the Code of Tuscaloosa pertaining to the structures and permit fees. This is the lake structure issue. I understand there may be some changes discussed later in committee, and my office has a suspended rules item prepared if indeed we do make those changes. Next, we'll go over down towards the bottom of page 3, where on page 49 you'll be authorizing a contract with C.C. Lynch and Associates and declaring a bid law exemption pursuant to Alabama Code Section 41-1651B7. This comes from our Water and Sewer Department. On page 50, you'll be authorizing professional services contract with TTL Inc. for the Benjamin Barnes YMCA project. This is a total of $27,100 and comes from projects last week. On page 51, you'll be authorizing a contract renewal with Sprout Social. This is a total of $10,152.48. It came from projects last week. On page 52, you'll be authorizing a contract with Jacobs Engineering Group. This is a total not to exceed $50,000, and that came from projects last week. On page 53, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute the 2023 agency funding contract for the Saban Center. That is a total of $442,695. That was discussed over the last couple weeks, is on the agenda tonight, and is also on the finance agenda to discuss further. On page 54, you'll be authorizing the renewal of the NDAA liability insurance for the Office of City Attorney. That's a total of $8,028, and we discussed that in Finance Committee last week. On page 55, you'll be authorizing a minor public works contract with Nichols Construction and Home Repair. That is a total of $1,818. That is doubled up, and we will discuss it on projects today. On page 56, you'll be authorizing a minor public works contract with Crimson Carpet and Flooring for the council mayor lobby. That is a total of $1,650, and again, is doubled up and on projects today. On page 57, you'll be authorizing a minor public works contract with Crimson Carpeting and Flooring for the Office of City Attorney. That is a total of $1,200, and again, is doubled up on projects today. On page 58, you'll be authorizing a contract with the International Association of Firefighters, total not to exceed $24,975, and you will hear from the chief about that today in projects as well. On page 59, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute a lighting services NESC lease agreement with Alabama Power Company for additional streetlight LED lighting fixtures at 5012 Watermelon Road. This comes from OCE. On page 60, you'll be authorizing an amendment to the contract with Ticketmaster LLC, providing a ticketing system for the Tuscaloosa Amphitheater. You heard about that in projects last week. On page 61, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute an amendment to the agreement for jail services between the Tuscaloosa County Commission, Tuscaloosa County Sheriff, and the City of Tuscaloosa. That comes from my office and the Tuscaloosa Police Department. On
What
page,
is that, Scott?
we plan to brief you in executive session on the details of that, Mr. Busby. On page 62, you'll be authorizing the mayor to execute a right-of-way permit to Reston Place Homeowners Association. We discussed that in projects on the 13th. And we will skip past all the ones that came in from our friends at UD, and about midway down on your next page, we'll be at pages 76 through 80, where we'll be amending sections 21-28 of the Code of Tuscaloosa. You discussed this in admin, I believe, on the 6th. On page 81, you'll be amending various sections of Chapter 7 of the Code of Tuscaloosa, and this was discussed in projects last week. I believe that is all for me. We do have 3 items for executive session today. Are there any questions for me?
Any questions for Scott?
Thank you, Council.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, we do have projects, finance, admin, community development that's been canceled, and then council meeting at 6. I believe on dates to remember, ZBA is Wednesday instead of Monday, correct? Wednesday, because it says here Monday the 28th should be Wednesday the 30th, 5 o'clock. Police and fire pension, Monday, January 9th. City Hall closed this Friday and Monday, and then Monday, January 2nd. No council committee meetings December 27th or January 3rd. So,
Mr. President? can I
Yes,
ask a
sir.
question? Hey,
Absolutely.
Brandy, when will you know whether you've got a quorum for that ZBA meeting on Wednesday?
That's gonna be a planning question. They take care of the,
When do y'all know that?
I mean, we can find out probably today, reach out to them and make sure that they're coming.
we have confirmed that there is a quorum for the Wednesday meeting.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, so there will be a quorum, that meeting will happen Wednesday?
Yes.
Yes,
Because
yeah,
there
yeah.
wasn't one last time.
Yes,
Right.
it's definitely gonna happen this
unless
time.
grandma gets run over by a reindeer.
The reason
Lots
it
of
didn't
it could
happen
happen.
this time is the
Grandma may freeze.
Unless grandma
Grandma may
gets
freeze.
run over by
this
a
year.
reindeer.
So that
She
doesn't-
will be, we have a ZBA meeting, Mr. Busby.
All right.
Okay.
What more excitement do you want, right?
Grandma, yeah. All right, any comments, communications from anyone? All right, is there a motion we go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, Mr. Holmes.
Yes, sir. As your city attorney and an attorney licensed to practice law in the state of Alabama, I can certify that the 3 topics to be discussed in executive session satisfy the topics set out in Alabama Code 3625A-7 and are as follows: to discuss with their attorney the legal ramifications of and legal options for pending litigation, controversies not yet being litigated but imminently likely to be litigated, or imminently likely to be litigated if the governmental body pursues a proposed course of action. 2, to discuss security plans, procedures, assessments, measures, or systems, or the security or safety of persons, structures, facilities, or other infrastructures in the public disclosure of which could be reasonably expected to be detrimental to the public safety and welfare. And 3, to discuss preliminary negotiations involving matters of trade or commerce in which the governmental body is in competition with private individuals or entities or other governmental bodies in Alabama or in other foreign states or nations.
Okay? All right, we have a motion second, go into executive session. All in favor, say aye.